Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of SketchySpeed. Alright, today we're doing something that I wish I would have done from the very beginning, which is do a brake booster delete. I hate it here. I want to move to the middle of nowhere. Alright, after that small interruption, I got a Willwood block-off plate with master cylinder. So this is going to be my new brake master and reservoir. I'm going to do something I probably shouldn't do. We are going to suicide the brakes. So I'm only going to have brake pedal go to fronts, and I will have a singular, the hydro will only run the rears. Good idea, bad idea? I don't know. Sketchy idea for sure though. All right, so I've started taking apart my interior to be able to get to the bracket for the hydro. I need to disconnect the line and run the line here. So that means I gotta get a bunch of stuff to put under things, but I need to figure out where I'm running that line, because I think I can get it through the rat's nest here somewhere and get it to come in somewhere through here and go straight to that. Because unfortunately my line has a straight on it instead of a 90. A 90 would have been preferable, but you know, it is what it is, and we'll make it work. Ignore my rat's nest. I guess a good thing will be I won't have this line rubbing my heat shield anymore, so that's probably good, because this is my rear brake line. So that's something. And I won't have this taking up all this space, because this comes all the way to my support bar here. And I won't have this ugly ass hose anymore. This fucking pool hose looking. Bleh. Okay, so I wasn't able to run it through the old AC line holes because it was coming too far over. It was literally probably 3 inches too short, but I got it to go into the old AC drain line, so that's where it comes up anyway from the rear, so I just looped it right there. And now it's actually too long. I just got to clean it up a little bit, but that's fine. I got to clean everything else up a little bit too. So bolt that down, clean this up, tighten the line. On our way. Honestly, at this point, I wish I would have got rid of heat, because I thought I was going to put heat in the car, you know, for the couple times it's going to be cold and defrost and everything, but I don't think I'm ever going to hook it up, honestly. Everything's kind of in the way. Hydro's kind of in the way. Cage is kind of in the way. The blower, I think it's more of a pain than it is anything. I don't know. I'm on the fence. All right, now, whether it'd be a good idea or not, I mean, technically this is how the fancy kits go, is you have your it's a single piston, singular outlet, so that outlet is gonna have to go to this T, and then will tee off to my front brake lines. So hopefully I will just be able to run a steel braided line from each of these onto my brake lines, wherever they may fall. So this should be my other front one. So that's right there, and this, oh, the one at the bottom down there is my other brake line. So, all right, I'm gonna start taking it apart and we'll figure it out on the way, I guess. All right, quick update. We got the master cylinder and booster out. Gonna get ready to test fit the new one. This is the Willwood one, and this bracket, I bought this as an assembly on eBay. It's 160 bucks, and the plate is actually for a Honda. But they're the same. Most of these old Japanese cars have the exact same, like, I guess, bolt pattern. It's the 4-bolt, a certain amount of spacing. So, like the Hondas, the Hondas to Miata works. It should work on most Nissans. I believe Subarus also all cross, like the same thing. You just swap them around. So I know Hondas are the common ones for this, so all of these plates are marked Honda, but they will fit your Miata, in case you wanted to know that. So you can buy a cheap plate and get yourself a reservoir and do this very cheap. All right, I'm gonna attempt to get this in. Hopefully the bolts are long enough. I think that might be a defining factor, is the bolts might not be long enough, but we're gonna find out. So I originally tested all of this by buying a old one. It's an old Chase Bays one off of eBay for 60 bucks, because this thing is horrid. Anyway, so I originally bought this on eBay. This one was specifically to a Subaru, and this is how I found out that it fits the Cedric, and this is how I found out this is what I'm doing for the Cedric brakes, and I just applied that to Miata, cross-referenced everything. So I'm actually gonna steal the little, I'm blanking at the moment, but I'm gonna steal this because the factory one is the threading is much bigger. So I'm gonna steal this one and put it on the end of my new one, and that is where it's gonna connect to my brake pedal. All right. Okay, so I believe it is called a clevis. This is a generic term for it. So the downside of buying and trying to cheap out on your own kit is that this doesn't come with one, or at least mine didn't. I'm sure you might be able to find one that does, but mine didn't come with it. Luckily, this cheap one on eBay had this one. I did buy a Willwood one thinking I was going to need that, but how wide that is, I'm not going to use it because this one is closer to the OEM like width inside there. So instead of having that extra gap, I'll be closer to the OEM one, which is right here. This is the OEM Miata one. So there's all that gap, but this one is dropping everything. That one's like, look at that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to stretch it a little bit, but much closer to what my brake pedal is. So this one's gonna go on here and we'll get it back together. All right, I just have the bolts slid in there. Let's see how it looks. It looks like I can see some threads, so I think we're gonna be good. I can also see daylight up there. So. All right, cool. Oh, I think I took a nut off I didn't need to. I'm gonna find all my hardware too. All right, okay, let me get back to this. Well, now that I got underneath here, I did not bring any of my hardware with me, nor did I think about checking the pin thickness for the clevis, something. So I now have to get all the way back out. I have to crawl out of this cage and double check the rest of this. So, oh my God, my back hurts. All right, so I was wrong. And even if I did, come on, focus, drill out these holes here, this is gonna be too wide for the factory clevis pin. So I will not be using the factory pin. I either have to go get pins or I gotta find something. So we're gonna look for something. I think this is the most uncomfortable I've ever been inside of a car. My seat is in my rib cage. Oh my God, dude. Oh. I can't reach anything to pull myself up. Oh, there we go. All right, so I think I need to take it back out one more time and tighten that down a little more. No, because I already had to push the brake pedal a little bit, right, to get that in there. So, okay. Oh, my back just cracked. If you could have heard that. Oh my goodness. All right, I had to unbury myself because I can't get a nut on this bolt without it just popping back out. I'm gonna put some tape on it and hopefully that is on there good enough to I can just get these started and tighten them down somehow. All right, let's give that a shot. All right, I think I got it. Oh yeah, like a charm. Well, I've now gotten this far and realized that I didn't do this right. Brake lines are not -3. These are -3. Those are in whatever metrics. So I don't have the right lines for this. Fuck. My God, am I lucky. Okay, so I had this one in the hopes of being able to use it, but I guess, I don't remember, I ordered the other one as well. So luckily, I did have this one. This is just another copper fit T-fitting that is a female threaded M10. So now I just have to use the adapter from N10-1 to -3AN. So now I just have to go from there to there, and these can plug into my brake lines. That, well, just saved myself a bunch of headache. Thank goodness. All right. And this is what you get when you don't pay $700 for a brake booster block-off situation, and you do it as cheaply as possible. Sure, it's not pretty, but we're gonna find out if it works. I'm gonna fill it right now. And of course, as we're finishing up this part, Ollivander had to come and see how we're doing with it. He says we're behind schedule, so I guess we gotta move along here. All right, moment of truth. Am I on the clutch? Oh, that's actually the brake. So that means there is tons of air in these lines now from the one new line, new master, new line. Oh. Let's see here. Hopefully. Okay, that still spins. All right. Ooh, I don't know where I just found fluid from. Oh, god dang it. Okay. No, get off my hands. God, I hate brake fluid so much. I don't know if that's leaking or I dripped it. I'm unsure. Everything's too wet. Spray my connector, that's probably good. I'll get back to you. Okay, so I don't know what the deal was with my straight fitting, but I had to take out, I just set it there, take out the Kurt angle, the 90 angle fitting from here to put it in here. I didn't really want a 90 on here, but I had to replace it because I then also had to replace this hose. But now that the 90 is on there, it doesn't appear to be leaking. My straight one was leaking, I guess because of the thread pitch, not thread pitch, but the this was like a NPT cone style, and I guess it just needed a regular threading. So my bad on that, but it doesn't appear to be leaking now. Got everything almost cleaned up so that if it does leak, I will notice it. I got a little bit more to clean up, but so hopefully no more leaks. I got to refill this with brake fluid, and it seems like the brakes are already working. There really shouldn't be too much air in the system. The only thing new was the line in that, but I will probably bleed them at some point here soon, just to be sure. I need to start to do that, but I think we're on our way. I'll probably bleed at the same time as I'll have to bleed the hydro. So, all right, we're gonna fill the hydro and put my handle on. Okay, making good progress. All right, I finally hit break time. I've been sitting in the car for like 10 minutes. I'm tired, but hydro handle is on. It's bolted. Things are happening in there. Everything should be bolted. I need to put fluid in there and attempt to bleed this somehow. I think I'm gonna get the power bleeder, maybe. Yeah, I don't know. We're gonna find out. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get fluid in here with the dash. I need a small bottle. I don't have a small bottle. Oh, we'll figure it out. Every time I try and talk, it gets windy. All right, hydro. Ow, that was my head. Should be good. Had to get the power bleeder on it, but I think it's good. It has a little more move. I hope it just like locks really well. Otherwise I'll have to put better pads in it. Brakes should be good. They feel okay. So I'm gonna get ready to test it. I still have my ugly blue line, but that's because I have to do with things with the intake manifold to get rid of that. Everything should work. I don't see any leaks currently, so I think we're gonna test it. Wish me luck. I lied, I have to put my switch plate back first. Hey, so that's good. Bye, buddy. All right, so quick update. It is 4 days later. I don't know when the last time I filmed was. It is some days later, and so me pulling on the hydro, it was not enough. It would not lock at all, and so we hand bled it, and did that many times, got a lot of air out, and then it almost kind of worked. It started locking up the passenger rear, kind of. It was not still, like, it wasn't consistent. It wasn't consistent enough to just pull it and lock it. I even had dead tires on, and it wouldn't lock it up. So, I have better pads coming. I have put my other calipers on because I didn't realize that the calipers on SketchySpeed were not sport. They're not the sport brakes. They're just the smaller ones. So I'm gonna go with the bigger calipers. I have extras from Cami, so put those on. So I have rotors that just came today. We're gonna slip those on, but my pads should be here tomorrow. So hopefully either tomorrow or Friday we'll be putting the pads on. And then I have a different brake line for my hydro that has a 90, so I don't have the big loop that goes around, so there'd be no chance of air being too high. We should be able to bleed it out. So I'm gonna get back to putting this together because currently this is all just a part. I just cut off my dust shields because they are different from sport to non-sport. So I should have known that these weren't sport calipers based on the fact that it had the big old booster, but I don't know why I didn't think of it. I don't know. Just didn't think of it, I guess. But converting everything to sport brakes, I'll be doing the front soon, so hopefully the brake pedal works on that. I'm gonna change that master out though as well. Damn, I need to do bushings. That's oh my. Anyway, putting it together again. And you realize why the rotor was so cheap. I guess you really can't see it on video, but it does not sit on that hub very tight. Oh well. All right, I have decided that we are side questing because we still have to do the brakes, but currently with no pads in here, there's no friction, and well, there's less friction. There's still the diff, but it'll be easier to roll this. So we're gonna go ahead and roll the shit out of these fenders, and we're just gonna make them clear probably literally everything I own. Well, I guess I'm gonna have to reconfigure my bumper mounting because I just cut the tab off underneath here so that I could hammer this section out and actually make it flared out instead of it tucking back in right there. But I think it's gonna look much better. Also be more functional. We're looking good. And then make sure you duplicate the other side, which this one actually still had the bracket on there, which I should have removed before I hammered that in there. Yep. At least that was an easy fix. Okay, so now that it is many days later and I have forgot to film the 86% of this, let's just review of what I've got going on SketchySpeed so we can close out this video, and I'll get back to another one, hopefully filming more for the event that's coming up. So obviously inside the car, so hydro is now plumbed up like it'd be a dual caliper, except I only have the regular rear calipers. I have suicided the brakes, so the brake pedal is just front calipers on a single piston Willwood. So here is my cheap ABS, not ABS, it was already non-ABS, booster delete. There we go. This is my super cheap booster delete. Oh, it looks like I need to add fluid. Am I leaking fluid? That looks lower than I remember. I gotta remember to check that. So this is the booster delete to Willwood master cylinder, split off with a T to the fronts. And I will eventually come back to this because I'm going to go down in size on master cylinder and up in size on calipers, because these are non-sport calipers. So I'm going to go to sport calipers and down the size of the master cylinder, and I think it'll give me the brake pedal feel that I want, because right now it's really stiff. It does kind of stop, but not great. So, and I also have to delete my hose still, but that's going to be for another day because I have to take my intake manifold off to do so. But I also need to do a vacuum leak check because I'm pretty sure I have a vacuum leak somewhere. So I need to do a vacuum leak check, and when I do that is when I will then pull the intake manifold off to fix anything that's leaking and remove that. And I gotta get this out of here. This doesn't belong in here. It's just sitting in here. And my fender is crunchy because my car was too low. And I have converted the rears to sport brakes already and put EBC yellow stuff brake pads in there for the grippy. And I'm currently test fitting wheels again, so I have 2 different wheels on. But that is where we are at with SketchySpeed. So hopefully this works out for the event. Hopefully my hydro works, and hopefully my brakes work enough that I can still chase and not just run into somebody. So that'll be fun to figure out. But the hydro feels okay. It feels like it has too much flex, but also, I mean, the tunnel has a ton of flex in it, so. But I don't know, it feels like there's a lot of play in there. So I don't know if it could be bleeded or if it's that pin in there. We're just gonna see how it goes because it's only 2-3 days away, so we're just gonna send it as is for now. And I gotta put my I gotta put this back because that's just hanging on by a thread there. But that is going to do it for this one. I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit, finish test fitting some wheels to make sure everything's good for the event, and I think that's it. Test fit wheels, clean up stuff, make sure oil's good. I might do an oil change, but that's not important for this. So hopefully the next video will be this thing drifting again. It's only going to be the 4th time drifting this car. So hopefully, and this will be the first time with the hydro. So hopefully everything goes well and nothing major breaks. Oh, and I have new axles for this event. So hopefully I don't ruin another axle because so far I'm 3 for 3. All right, well, thank you guys. Stay tuned for the next one.